An investigation by the Winnipeg Free Press has found hundreds of millions of dollars meant for housing for Indigenous women and children fleeing from violence has never been spent. The Indigenous Shelter and Transitional Housing Initiative is one of the largest investments by the Trudeau government in response to the national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. For more on the program and why the money hasn't been spent, we're joined by investigative reporter Marsha McLeod. Marsha, thank you for speaking with us. My first question is, can you start by telling us what the Indigenous Shelter and Transitional Housing Initiative is and what the goal of the program was?
Absolutely. So this program was launched in 2020 by Justin Trudeau's government, and it's a $724.1 million fund. And that money, it was announced in response to the national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and the 231 calls for justice. And this fund was meant to build transitional homes as well as emergency shelters for women and children who were escaping violence. The program is primarily being led by the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, or CMHC, and it officially launched in 2021 and is set to be spent over 5 years, so concluding in March 2026.
Marsha, can you explain why this was something you wanted to look into, and what did you discover?
Absolutely. So I first started reporting on this fund actually in 2022, close to when it launched. And what we found when we were looking into it this time around, we obtained about 500 pages of government records that really helped us reveal what was going on behind the scenes. But we learned as well that only a third of this money has been spent as of September 2024, which obviously leaves 2/3 of this money unspent, meaning it's not been delivered to the intended recipients, but almost $500 million that's been left on the table. And we know that for this program, 88 transitional homes or shelters were supposed to be built. And as of September, just 2 of those facilities have been completed. We know 22 are under construction, and the remainder have either not been selected yet or they haven't yet begun construction.
How many of these projects have gone ahead?
So we know that 2 are officially complete and others have been selected. However, what we really know is that there were also so many issues for projects that weren't selected. It was an incredibly difficult application process for those communities that were trying to get access to the fund. And our records show that they spent enormous amounts of money and as well really just a really significant amount of time to even get to the stage where they received a denial. And these government records, or CMHC records, they acknowledge this, that small communities with limited resources may not have been able to apply to the fund at all because of how onerous the application was.
And Marsha, in your reporting, what is the reaction from the federal government regarding all of this?
CMHC, which is a federal crown corporation, they've said to me that they are on track to spend the money by 2026, so 13 months from now. And we know that they've said that they have made some changes to try to streamline the application processes, but there's more I wish I knew, and they declined our requests for an interview with somebody managing the program.
Is there a risk hundreds of millions of dollars meant for this program, will that money never be spent?
I think it remains to be seen over the next 13 months. Obviously, your viewers would know we are headed into a federal election campaign in the next couple of months. The Conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, is currently the front runner of that. A lot could change, obviously. However, we do know that it's uncertain the degree to which the needs of Indigenous priorities are going to be the needs of Indigenous communities are going to be a priority either for a new Liberal government or for the Conservatives.
That's Winnipeg Free Press investigative reporter Marsha McLeod. Marsha, thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.